Welcome everybody to April's Instructors Forum. It's so good to see you. And the Instructors Forum is a wonderful place for us to get together, to talk to each other, to share knowledge and ideas and friendship. And if you want to bring more people in, anyone is welcome, but it is primarily for our Tai Chi for Health instructors. And there are, I just give you a brief idea of what we're going to do. My first thing, I will introduce my special speaker, and then I will talk too, and our topic would be how to use visualization to improve your Tai Chi. And then after we talk, we'll take questions on the topic. After that, we'll take questions on anything. And there will be times for us to get to know each other. We'll put you into small groups. You get to meet people from different parts of the world, different parts of USA. Usually we have about 10 people from 10 countries joining us. It's really fun to meet people from upside down, like me, down under. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce my friend Bob McBrien. Bob is a PhD psychologist, and he also is a master trainer. He teaches Tai Chi for many years. He's a friend for many years. I learned so much from him. In fact, every now and then he sent me a wonderful book that I learned a lot. I'm really interested in the mind. And so he's a very special person that I think you will find the same, that you can learn a lot from him. So here's Bob.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thanks for the invitation. You know, I'm supposed to be fully retired, although I keep busy, but when I have a chance to do something that is part of all of my experience, training, and interest, you know, it's a gift. So I really appreciate it. So the concept of visualization is very big in sports psychology and also performance psychology, so that it's a tool in a toolbox for people who are training to deliver what in sports psychology we call a peak performance. So to improve Tai Chi, one of the things about Tai Chi is being very, very focused on practice and classes, and again, with the notion of visualization after a 1 hour class and getting back home and trying to remember and trying to go out in a space in your house or yard and practice. Visualization gives us an opportunity to practice, and we can be seated or even lying down. And so what I want to do is to offer you an experience with what we call deliberate practice or deep practice. So I'm going to have you experience steps that are known and researched to show folks who want to perform at a better level or higher level can improve way beyond ordinary practice all alone out in your yard or on your deck. And so I'll give you the steps. And the first one, it sounds like a Tai Chi class. The first one is preparation. So the most important thing is that you get yourself ready to do something very simple, sitting and eyes closed and using imagination. So in order to do a simple but deliberate practice, we want to kind of shut the world off, no distractions, and we want to prepare with the ingredients that are familiar when we do Tai Chi. And first one is correct posture. So in a chair, feet flat on the floor, sitting up straight. Correct breathing. The breathing that we do is Dantian breathing. And then being centered and also grounded. So one of the ways to be centered is to just focus clearly on the goal or purpose for why you're going to sit for 10 minutes or so. And then grounded is the idea your feet are flat on the floor and you feel, the ground. We live in our heads with so much screen time. So we want to sit and eyes closed. And then I'm going to remind you that we can put our tip of our tongue on the roof of our mouth, right where it touches when we say the letter L. And then we can go through a nice visualization experience. And of course, we're going to have a warm up. So if you're kind of willing to do this, or you want to just observe, just have a sense of sitting, body upright, breathing slowly, deeply, and evenly. And as a warm up, I'm going to have you, with your eyes closed, imagine that you're stepping through your front door and in your home. And then I want you to count the windows. Now you can stay in one place or you can walk through and count all the windows that are on the first floor. So how did that go? So for some people, they have a very clear image and some have to kind of work at it. But the goal is that you have a sense of, I'm going to say, remembering where all the windows are. And that is visualization. Now we're going to move from a warming up, very, very familiar, to doing visualization in order to improve our practice. So I've done a simple thing. I think most people would be familiar with it, but from the Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention, I've selected form number 6, and it's brush knee. And I'm going to invite you to do something that I'm doing with my students and myself, and that is we're going to just do the stepping of brush knee. And when we do this, I have learned to call this no arms Tai Chi, because we're going to work on improving the flow of taking that simple step, which sometimes takes a lot of time to make go smoothly. So if you think about it, with your eyes closed, you're going to find yourself just remembering or being there. What we call anchor form is what Paul calls the prayer position. And now we're going to take that 90-degree step to the right, and we go into a bow stance, and then the follow step. So kind of take a breath and let that go away and come back to the prayer posture. And then I'll be quiet and you can go through that brush knee one more time. Now, when you do that kind of an experience, if we were to kind of what is called unpack it, there are so many things that are happening that people are writing their master's theses about what happens physically, emotionally, your nerve system. And we just don't have time to even spend a little bit with the things that are happening. But essentially, when you see yourself, feel yourself, imagine yourself, visualize yourself doing brush knee, all the nerves that are required to move the muscles correctly fire up at a very, very low level. It's called subliminal. So that's a visualization. As children, we did it all the time. You can use it in many, many ways. And if you are working on something in the set that is challenging, there's ways for you to learn to improve upon that movement with just visualization. So we're going to finish my little experience with just taking about 3 deep Dantian breaths, nice and long, nice and slow, nice and deep. And as you exhale, just allow yourself to feel your whole body, head to toe, relaxing. And then give yourself a nice stretch and come back to being here in this world. That's visualization. You do it so many different ways. My daughter took a workshop with me and she visualized. I said, "What did you do? You didn't do Tai Chi, did you?" She was 16 and she said, "I was visualizing parallel parking. I'm taking the driving test next week." So those are the ways that she was using it. So Paul, I've finished my time and I guess we'll wait for Q&A later on.
Thank you, Bob. I really like you taking us through it. I just like to say a little bit to supplement and expand on what Bob's saying. What I understand, Bob started with talking about the sports, the coaching, using visualization. I like you to imagine these athletes. People, for example, one of my participants used to compete in Olympics. You train all your life, and only once every 4 years you get to go to Olympics. Now, so you really can't have lots of experience going to Olympics because the next 4 years your peak form might be gone. So a lot of things, and so as other sports, there's a critical moment that is so important, but you can't always practice things. I used to go ice skating and imagine the triple jump. That is so hard. Even the top athletes in the world-class competition can fall down, but you can practice it a lot because it's risk and you get tired. So that is where the visualization is so powerful to help them. Your brain doesn't know you are actually jumping or you're thinking about it. And when you use visualization with the technique Bob mentioned, you are there, you have the emotions, your brain fibers are fire in the lower level, but it's there. So you have been Olympics hundreds of times already, and when you get there, you are not so nervous, you're able to perform better. As well as that, there's an emotional effect. Everything we did, like now I'm talking to you all, even though you're my friends, I still feel a little nervous, even though I did lots of talking. So last night before I sleep, I went visualizing how we're going to do this, what I'm going to say, at least the first few minutes. And that helped me, because last night I visualized this is going to be a great meeting, and I'm going to do my best. And I think that really helped me this way. So visualization is like preparing your brain, setting up the positive path. And then when you when you do it lots of times, you can follow that well, and you can perform, like Bob was saying, better than you could with visualization practice. So I want to just follow Bob's thought about brush knee, because when I teach exploring the depth of Tai Chi for arthritis, I talk about brush knee many times, hundreds of times. But I also visualize it. It looks so simple. So as a lot of our Tai Chi. So my tendency is I do things fast. So when you close your eyes and visualize, you will finish your brush knee too quick. However, if you apply a Tai Chi principle, when you get step 1 open up your hands and visualize you doing that. Put your heel down and then your foot, and then visualize it in the normal speed that you're going to practice. So the principle of moving slowly, smoothly, continuously, and you can practice that principle for maybe a whole set of Tai Chi for arthritis. And then maybe next time you have another principle you want to practice, body upright with your breathing. So with visualization, you can't really go wrong, and it's also extremely useful for people who's got an injury or a disability. That is why when I travel around the world, I often met people who come up to me and say, "Hey, Dr. Lam, look at me. I'm walking my walking sticks. Last year, I was practically live on my wheelchair." And how did they get there? Because they use our Tai Chi and they use visualization when they cannot walk. And that not only the brain fiber fires, also when you visualize it, your muscles of the area actually are activated to roughly 30% of its normal way. But by firing the muscles, the brain, you have a pattern. You know how the more we do something, especially Tai Chi, the better we become, and the better we at doing it and getting to deeper of it. Well, that's got to do with the brain learning. So if your brain repeating exercise, and then you infuse principles, infuse where you want to be. If you want to lift your feet a little higher, if you visualize it, then your brain, your muscle already have some practice. When they need actually doing it, you can really follow that path in improving it. So once you use this technique, you'll find you use it anyway in other occasions, like Bob was mentioning, even when we were as a kid. But if you look into the technique and think of what we were talking about, feel the emotion, prepare, do your exercise, and like Tai Chi, spend a little time practicing it. And this way of practice complement your physical practice and extend our ability to understand and to move better. It's like visualization is like setting a positive path. If you think you can't do this, you set up a negative path and your brain tends to follow that way. But if you set up a positive path, and I'm going to be able to do this, I'm going to be able to do that, and I'm going to stretch this far, and that set up in your brain and prepare your muscles, then you have a much better chance of getting there. So I want to give you a real life example of my visualization before we take your questions. As you know, I travel around the world. I met many of you. I spent half my year traveling before the lockdown. So inside an aeroplane is kind of my second home. But I am a poor traveler. I get airsick, seasick. So every 3 hours, I do my Tai Chi, and that stopped me from getting all the problem with flying. And so imagine in this little seat, I'm doing open brush knee, and or a chain style punch, or spread a hands out. So you can see, I don't want to hit my next door neighbor. This is my little space, and I work on my little space. And one day, somebody standing in front of me, and I look up, this air hostess, she's slightly taller than me, and she's very pretty, so I smiled to her. And she said to me, "Excuse me, sir, are you doing Tai Chi?" And I thought, wow, this is amazing. She can know I was doing Tai Chi. I only moved so little using visualization for the rest of my movements. And my smile gets bigger and say, "Yes, I am." And she said, "You know, sir, She looks like around 40-ish, so that's very young. She said, you know, I've been doing karate for 20 years. And I had no problem working with taking a man down. I went, well, okay. And then she said, but I'm getting older. Well, she's not getting older. She's only 40. And I'm getting some injuries. Can you tell me how to learn Tai Chi? Do you know some Tai Chi teachers? Well, she couldn't choose a better person. I'm probably one of the few people in the world that know just about somebody who teach great Tai Chi in major cities. So where you come from? Oh, come from Atlanta City. West Jerusalem was Atlanta, isn't it? Come from Atlanta. And of course, I know good people in many places, including there. So they are amazing how many people recognize I'm doing Tai Chi. One day, a guy sitting next to me. He's a martial art teacher. His full-time job. I said, this is very strong-looking young man. And he said to me, excuse me, you wouldn't be a doctor, would you? I said, yeah. That time I wasn't retired yet. Yeah. You Dr. Lam. So I was really excited that he recognized me. And he teach martial arts, but he still didn't want to learn Tai Chi. So he bought one of my DVDs and he learned my Tai Chi, and he's been teaching my Tai Chi with the DVD he learned from. And of course I told him, you have to come to my workshop and learn it properly. And he did. He came to a number of workshops. So visualization can be done in different ways. The combining a bit of movements, I find that really helpful. So here's some ideas for you to explore. If you have any question on visualization for me and Bob, please unmute yourself or any comments. You're welcome.
Dr. Lam, this is Ernie, and we've had several people enter the chat box thanking you and thanking Dr. McBrien for the technique. Really enjoyed going through that exercise, that experiment. One of the questions was from Carol, and she is asking about a student who has limited mobility. Coming off of an injury where they only have use of one arm, and I'm thinking also maybe use of one leg, or they're limited either permanently or temporarily. Can you address how visualization works for that person?
Sure, I will, and then Bob might want to add something to that. Essentially, visualization is do what you can within your comfort zone and visualize your other hand is doing it. And of course, you can do it without moving at all as pure visualization. And that one thing Bob mentioned, I want to emphasize that, is that visualization not just keep improving your memory, giving more chance to exercise, but it actually take you to a higher level in other things. So therefore, that's why people who used to be on wheelchair was able to exercise the right muscles, the right brain, that they're able to walk in walking sticks. So that's what I would suggest. Bob, would you like to add to that?
Sure. You know, one of the things about the human brain, or your powers of the human brain, is with something like imagery or mental practice, if someone had limitations and they had the patience to watch the DVD and watch a model show best performance, best posture, they can then imagine themselves doing it exactly the way that they are looking at. And that has been shown with some of the research to actually do this business of firing the nerves that move the muscles that perform that particular, the shape of that particular form. So one of the big names of, and that is something that I can't remember, has a kind of a bumper sticker slogan that says, "What you fire wires." And so instead of just, you know, a little bit of electricity and chemistry going down through a nerve, over time, it becomes more and more and more automatic. And so there's great stories about people that you see it in the movies. They'll say, his little toe just twitched. And they said, well, I've been rehearsing it forever. But that's Hollywood. But those kinds of things are real. And it just would require someone with due diligence. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. But a model would be one of the most important things. And for me, I'd watch Paul do the set back on, and I've actually got how much time it takes, and then I work on having my pace match the pace of the master. So those are just, you know, common sense kinds of ideas, but I got lots of years of working with imagery and mental practice. But yeah, you can really help someone have an experience, and over time, maybe good things could really, really happen.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for that suggestions. I will be very, very happy that you use my image to follow what I do. I've been doing Tai Chi for 47 years, and it would be very good that I'll be very happy you use my image to help you develop your Tai Chi. And then as you copy what I do, you can probably get to feel how my mind feel tranquil and quiet from within. Your body and mind are integrated to a certain extent. And so copying the movement, like Bob says, the right speed would help enhance your mind to be more smooth. Ernie, do you have another question?
Yes, this is from oh, go ahead, Nuala, go ahead.
It's just a thank you. It's a nice thank you for Bob. It's from Sashiko, and it says, Bob, I really enjoyed entering my house and counting all the windows. It was a great warm-up. She really enjoyed it. Thank you, Bob. And a nice one for you as well, Dr. Lamb. This person enjoyed this is wonderful story, Dr. Lamb. Really enjoyed your story, from Ruth. So I've had a few nice thank yous. Sorry, go ahead now, Ernie.
Okay, Marianne had something insightful. She knows the brush knee and how to visualize that, but it would be very difficult, she thinks, to visualize the triple jump. So Dr. Bob or Dr. Lamb, could you address that? Would it be best to start with something quite simple that has no more than 2 or 3 movements to visualize, as opposed to working up gradually to a more difficult movement?
Oh yeah, that's a very good point, Marianne. Certainly, like Tai Chi, you start with more simple. And I guess the triple jump is an example, probably more visible for the people who can do it or close to be able to do it. I used to go ice skating, and my program was to just spring, and then I get motion sickness as well. At that time, I didn't use the technique. Otherwise, my skiing would be even better. Ice skating would be even better.
Okay,
have-
thank you. Another one, this going back to Sachiko, she was thinking some more about this. Um, can you suggest how to visualize your own energy? Do you feel the energy, and can you visualize an energy field? Is that possible?
Oh yeah, I think that in fact that is really what we do in Tai Chi, because you can't measure your energy, you can't measure your Qi, you cannot see your Qi, so you really have to visualize it. And I think one of the best way is in my exploring the depth of Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention. I talk about, again, back to Bob's example, follow step, push down, sing your Qi, breathe out, deliver your energy, and you visualize there's an internal energy as you move. And that comes with having everything ready, doing the movement right, doing the breathing right. And that's why it takes 2 days for me to do that, exploring the depth of Tai Chi for arthritis. And then different stages. As you get better in your movement, you get better at your focus, then you get more feeling of the energy. It might not come straight away. So visualization is absolutely the way to really improve your Tai Chi in this instance. So some of you might not know that for last 20 years, I have conducted this exploring the depth of Tai Chi for arthritis around the world, hundreds of times. And there are people who keep coming back year after year, and I can see they improve. So I was asked to have it taped into a DVD, but I haven't, because there was something about that energy being there face to face. So, however, I finally did with a Zoom workshop. I did a couple of Zoom workshops on exploring the depth of Tai Chi for arthritis, and that is in record. So I think that would be a really good one. If you like to experience that, go to onlinetaichiworkshops.com, and you can subscribe quite a long period of time. I don't know how long, and you can then be part of the energy as though in my workshop. Then if you keep practicing it, you'll find you can visualize better and you actually feel the energy.
Yeah, I was remembering some of the things I've been reading about the brain and how it works. and also working with athletes for mental practice. And one of the things is when we are taking a Tai Chi class and the teacher introduces each form and it's new, and then with practice it becomes more familiar. Really, learning something new helps to keep the brain happy. And activity, there's so much stuff going on now that the health people or wellness people are not asking folks to go to the gym and using the word exercise anymore. They just say move. And we can use movement because we see Tai Chi as moving meditation. So the getting to the place of doing the set so that you can do it with calm and slow, gentle, easy breathing that gets closer to moving meditation is a very happy place for your whole body to be, especially your brain. So I just have people, even if it's 5 minutes, do practice every day. I hope it's more.
Thank you, Bob. And I in my book and different things, I recommend the book Forest for Positive Thinking. Positive thinking it's a way of also visualizing. If you read the book, there's a lot more to it, of course. So you know how most of us have part of us going positive and part of us going negative. And if something we really want, we're so worried that what if this happened and that happened. And the fact is, the more you visualize the negative outcome, the more likely that you're going to get negative outcome. But the more you can set up positive framework and look at it with a positive view, the more you ended up going to be happier and more positive. In any case, if you're thinking of positive things and having a positive view, you enjoy your life more at that moment anyway. And certainly Tai Chi is very positive. When your body upright, when you song your joints, when you do your downtown breathing, no matter where you are, you visualize you doing that, and almost straight away you are more relaxed and more positive.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lamb. Just a real quick one here. When we begin our classes, right after the warm-up, and we're ready to start with the forms, one of the first instructions we give is to focus. So could you address how focus is different, or is it the same as visualization?
There are elements of the same, but essentially it's different. Focus is being here. Being here, put your mind into here instead of thinking how to park your car in a parallel parking. Then you're not here, and then you don't learn as quick. Visualization, as Bob described, it's you can usually just sit down, close your eyes, and so you're not focusing on what's taught to you or the situation. You're just, in a way, focusing yourself, but your mind has been through exercise, your mind are doing Tai Chi. So I think that's different. What do you think, Bob?
Well, focus is one of the things that has as its goal having your attention go in one direction. You know, I saw a nice kind of I guess, a teaching skill, and that is what's the difference between a lantern and a flashlight. So the lantern lights up the whole room, and the flashlight will help you find your car keys because it's a beam. So focus is visualization, but it's has as its goal narrowing down and looking for, or wanting to be in one direction, almost pinpoint. And people say, I just lose my focus. And that's because they have too many distractions. So you have to set up the conditions that you're just not using wide everything in the room, but you're really paying attention. One of the things you say on the tapes and in our classes, I always remember, is that when you get us to stand, you say, cleanse your mind. And that's really getting to that whole business of, washing away any kind of a distraction and then getting really clear water. So that's a very, very nice way to remember. So focus is just a special kind of visualization. It has a certain purpose.
Dr. Lamb, we had another question here. Some people can't visualize. Can you address using word cues to go through the process? For instance, like my students, if they're doing open close really fast, I'll say, imagine your lotus flower opening and closing. And that seemed to help slow them down.
Sure, that's great to give suggestions of the nice images. That's one way to help. We all visualize. It's just that it's just like we all walk. But when you start mindful with your walking, then you walk with better balance. We all move, but if we move the Tai Chi way, it's stronger to yourself. So we all visualize and follow some simple rules, simple guides that we gave on visualization. Follow your Tai Chi movement and apply your principles. And of course, certain image like lotus can help. Using imagery is a wonderful way to teach. I would say that it's good. It's a good way to teach, but maybe not to use it excessively, because not everybody can follow your imagery, and certain imagery that turns you on might not turn others on. So yes, it's a good way, but just be a little mindful of that sometimes.
So I have some thoughts about that, because that's one of the, I guess, realities of teaching something like mental practice to a group, because I said a percentage will say, well, I just can't use imagery, or I don't have the capacity. And what's happening, of course, is that they've kind of got a mind set, and kind of they block the opportunities to find ways to. I like the concept of just having them remember, can you remember your first car? Or can you remember? And then if they close their eyes and remember their favorite, toy when they were 8 years old, that's using imagery. And the visualization can be something that they can learn with practice. And the other thing with Tai Chi and saying visualize, if they were to watch again back on demonstration of brush knee, I think it's the first form and disc 2, then when they watch it, if they were right away close their eyes and see you doing it, remember you doing it, and then they could put themselves through it. You know, it's a stair step. It's kind of a challenge for someone. And again, with athletes, I could work one-on-one with them and help them with their imagery. But remembering is one of the ways to get people to at least take a little bit of practice.
Thank you, Bob. If you have questions on other topics too, and we're going soon to have a breakout group to meet your friends from different parts of the world. Was there any question outside visualization? You can also write it in chat, and we were trying to answer you later.
Yeah, Dr. Lam, I think we should go to our breakout session just to make sure to get that in. We can have the extra Q&A after that. Is that all right? Hi, everyone. I'm Evan, and I'm just helping with the technology here. So I'll send you off to your breakout rooms for about 12 minutes or so. Have fun chatting and making new friends.
Thank you. That was a really wonderful time. I'm so glad to see you, especially people coming back and share with more people. You know, it's really good for us to be together to share the energy. And you can visualize we are sharing the energy. There are a field of science called the quantum energy that there are people who found we have amazing energies that we not able to detect. And it can, for example, the feelings can travel quicker than light, speed of light. That gets really complicated. If you have a chance, read up on quantum energy. And I think when people talk about Qi, and when I first learned Tai Chi, I always worry about, I can't feel the Qi. Is that real? It cannot be measured. Is that real? It is when you can feel it. And there must be lots of stuff in science that we don't know yet. The science hasn't catch up with everything. As long as you feel good about you having Qi and you give it that internal energy. And you know, there's one study that a few studies that study the feelings, that there's a group of people who coming from different denominations. So not just Christian priests, but also other denominations. And they sing prayers or good wishes to people in intensive care. And it's a double-blind controlled trial. And the people who actually get positive feelings saying to them recover quicker. So there's something about feelings, about sending positive, even you know, just for us to send out positive feeling for people who are suffering, for the world, and you never know. If it doesn't change the world, it makes you feel better. You're doing something.
Paul?
Yes.
In that light, I would just like to thank you for sending out that link to your daughter's piano day session. That certainly brought good feelings, and it was wonderful to see her, and her music is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody, I think we are already past the official time. I'm going to officially close this meeting, but I noticed there are a number of you have personal experience to share about how visualization help you recover from serious illness and get out of difficult situations. So I'm going to officially conclude this, but you're welcome to stay. And I'd like to hear your sharing experience. So first, let me say goodbye to people who have to leave, but by all means stay and let's hear some of our colleagues' stories. I'll let Ernie coordinate this.
Thank you, Dr. McBrien. We had a question from Sensei Francisco, I believe, in Florida.
Yeah, Dr. Lam, essentially, I work with people in the autism spectrum and other special needs, and we do use visualization. And one of the conversations we had in the forum was about when should you introduce visualization. I said, listen, visualization is a skill we bring from our everyday life. We should introduce it before they even step in through the door. Just by stepping in, you say, wait, imagine, weight transfer, take the first step. That visualization, that experience, that ability to transfer and put it on in their imaginary paper in their minds, with their imagination, not just visualizing, but imagining it and being better.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Veronica, are you here?
Veronica, yes, Veronica.
Oh,
I
but
sent you
before,
a-
can I just say something before that you are, for the new people who's new, I'm going to send you recordings of this, and the two topics you vote for, they all related to visualization. And in the email I send you with the recording of this talk, I will also give you a link of something to prepare for the next topic if you're interested to prepare. So sorry, back to you, Ernie. You're going to.
Yeah, I apologize. I was trying to catch Veronica and invited her to share her experience of visualization while she was in the hospital and in recuperation.
Okay. As some of you already know, I broke my leg, both my legs, quite a few years ago, and lying flat on my back for 2 months because because of osteoporosis, they couldn't do any nuts and bolts in my legs. So I used to use visualization and do Tai Chi every day. And I just found that I could get my imagination to feel myself moving. And then by the end of when I got into the wheelchair, I could still visualize it, sitting up. Just couldn't use my legs, but I could use my hands to pretend that they were my feet when I went to teach my classes, because I still went to teach. I went to teach them while I was still in the wheelchair. But the other thing is the fact that I think a lot of people can't visualize, and it's only because their mind shuts off. But once you learn how to do it, and you can then, because of what I've found myself, I can help my class because I've actually been through it and done it, if that makes sense. And it really works. I know it works, and I think that's something else that helps with passing it on to the people that come to my groups. The fact that I know it works comes through to them as well. But it really did help me. The other thing was when it came to rehabilitation, for reasons that I won't go into, I said, no, I'm not going to rehabilitation. I'll do it myself. And my doctor said, well, nobody can do it themselves. I said, yes, I can. So I used Tai Chi that whole time, and I could imagine myself walking down the passage, and one step at a time, which I had to do. I was only allowed to do 1 step and then 2 steps and then 1 step and sit down. So I would lie in bed and think about that, and then I would get out and do my 1 step and sit down. And in 2 months, I'd rehabilitated myself, and my doctor was amazed. But I put it all down to Tai Chi. Tai Chi works in your mind and your body, if that helps anyone. Okay, that's me done.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's really, really helpful. Yeah.
A nice story, that Veronica. A nice story that worked.
Yes, well, it did. It worked. It really did. And
Yeah.
and
Good.
and I think that helps. Like I have a core group of people who keep coming back 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And because of what happened, it's not me, but it's because of what happened that they believe.
That's
And
right.
some of them have got, one lady came to me just recently and she said, I can't come anymore, Veronica. She had, I'm getting too old. I've been staying at my daughter's place, sleeping on the wrong bed, and everything hurts, and I'm too old. I said, well, just come for coffee. So she came for coffee, and she sat down and watched the group. And then the next thing I turned around, she's up on her feet, and now she's off and running. The walker's thrown away, and she's back to Tai Chi. So
Yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes you just go down a wrong fork in the road and you have to get back on the straight and narrow, if you will, and you can do it. It can be done.
it can be
Definitely.
done. Yeah.
By helping yourself and visualizing and working on it. Takes some time, but it definitely works.
It definitely works.
It
That's
does.
right.
Yeah, sure. It does, Veronica.
Fantastic.
Thank you. We
done.
had a hand up from Helga. Do we have time for Helga to jump in here?
Of course.
Yeah, I just also wanted to share a story along those lines. So I had a knee injury a few years ago and I needed surgery. And, of course, before surgery, I was slightly nervous. And then I was thinking, hey, wait a moment, Tai Chi. So I'm sitting in this bed, waiting to be wheeled into the operating theater. And I visualized the Tai Chi for arthritis form. And then I was just sitting there and doing actually, and, visualizing being calm, the open, close. And I got such a feeling of bliss. I don't know where that came from. So I'm there, all happy, oh, I'm going to be fixed up. So, the person, the nurse comes out to wheel me in and she said, my God, what are you doing? I've never seen anybody so relaxed and happy to go into the operating theater. Well, Tai Chi. And for those of you who have, maybe remember just a few months ago in Dr. Lamb's newsletter, there was a little contribution from our group. Roz, one of my stalwarts, she's in her late 70s now and has so many problems. And one of them is severe osteoarthritis. So she breaks bones just by coughing. So she was in hospital and needed an operation. And I said to her, she was flat on her back for about 2 weeks. I said, use the footboard to practice Tai Chi. You're not just laying there, but with weight transfer and, pushing against the footboard and everything. And she did. And she said it helped her so much. And she also was one of them, like 6 years ago, she said, I love it, but I can't do it anymore. It's too difficult. So I invited her for a seated Tai Chi for arthritis workshop. And boy, is she ever sitting down? No. She now has a walker, but she is just amazing. I talked to her yesterday and she says, Helga, I haven't practiced my Sun 73 so much, but so she does the whole caboodle, Tai Chi for energy, Tai Chi for arthritis, Tai Chi for osteoporosis, everything, Yeah. Thank you. Amazing. She has a new lease of life. She might not be alive, if not for Tai Chi, because she had basically given up, 6 years ago. And now it's her major thing in life, Tai Chi. So thank you. You're saving lives, Dr. Lamb.
No, you and Veronica, and it's so fulfilling to be able to help.
Yeah.
Actually, I think most of you, I recognize the instructors. It's good to see you. Judy, haven't seen you for a while. It's great. Yeah. And Jocelyn, the other Judy, Lynn. So good to see you.
Tony.
Good to catch up. Yeah.
Well, it's a very feel-good feeling, but all meetings have to come to a close. I must leave you all now, but thank you. Love the meeting. Bye. See you next time.
Likewise. We'll see you next month, if not earlier. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
Hi. Evan, are you still there? I've got a question.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Evan, I'm sorry. This is a technical question. I clicked on the survey, and then I lost that screen, and I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't have the chat box. So I've just enlarged the. What's gone wrong with me here?
Oh no. Oh, I see. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but are you back in our Zoom meeting? Can you see the Zoom
I'm in the
meeting?
meeting, and I know you can hear me, so I'm.
Oh, but you can't see us anymore?
And no, I can see you. I just
you can.
have a little box, and I can't do any of the controls like chat and all those things at the bottom. So anyway, I can talk to you later. I just could I have a comment, please, Dr. Lamb?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to pick up on that point that you were saying about visualization and the positive and the negative, because it is so right that if people have in their mind that they can't do something, then they can't do it. Basically, when it comes to the visualization and the focus and that positive input, that you then have to be aware to say, I can do this, then that's when people are enabled to do it. And again, that's the basis of all of, the whole workshop today was in line with that. But it's just somehow or other, it is important for me, I find, to convey to the students that what they are thinking and what they're telling themselves in their minds is so important. And if it's positive, that's where you're saying make those visualizations positive, and then that sets you up for that the success, which is terrific. So yes, thank you. You've just reinforced that whole concept, and it works. It definitely works. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. It's been terrific. Thank you.
So keep practicing, everybody. I'll see you next month. And if I can ask my team to stay, we'll have a chat. So bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I'll send you a recording.
Thank you, Dr. Lamb.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.